So, Mark, we're getting very close. Of East of the River comic book and collectible show. Our friend Scott Pellin, this is going to be the big one. We haven't had one in a whole year.
Oh,
June
man.
27th, 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Admission's only $1, and early bird starts at 8 a.m. for $3. But Mark, with all that being said, where the hell is this thing going to be?
Well, Brian, it's going to be at the biggest location that East of the River's Comics and Collectibles show has ever been. It's going to be at Sports on 66, an indoor sports facility at 265 West High Street at the intersection of routes 66 and 16 in East Hampton, Connecticut.
Nice.
For more info, or if you need any info about the show, either message Scott Pellin, who is the guy putting the whole show on, or East of the River Comics and Collectibles show on Facebook.
Right. And just so everybody knows, face covering is still required for the show.
Yes.
Safety is number one, and we hope to see you there because I will be there, Free Lunch Studios will be there, and over 65 vendors will be there. So
man.
you're gonna get your money's worth. Bring all that money you haven't spent in the last year and bring it with you.
All that money you've been saving up because you haven't got any shows.
Right.
Brian's waiting to take it all from you.
This is the one, baby. So we'll see you there June 27th from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at East of the River Comic Book and Collectible Show.
Sports on 66, East Hampton, Connecticut. We'll see you there. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Geekonomics. We're back after the long weekend of sitting inside and doing nothing because it rained all weekend. So for everyone who lives anywhere else in the world actually got outside and was able to enjoy the long weekend. But we're back and we're better than ever. Brian, how you doing? How was your rainy, dreary, cold Memorial Day weekend?
Well, this year my wedding anniversary fell on a Tuesday. So we celebrated on Saturday. And then Sunday I had a Twin Peaks Unwrapped event at 2:00. We did our last
Yes, you did, yeah.
Our last David Lynch Madness episode, which is up on YouTube. And we're doing our last 5 episodes.
Yes.
We end the show June 28th.
That is what the article said. So
yeah,
that's true.
There's a nice little article written from 25 years later.
We'll put it on the Facebook page so people can take a look at it.
Yeah.
Check it out. The final chapter.
We got some
Twin
big
Peaks
surprises for Twin Peaks fans between now and 28th. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to read the article if you want to be spoiled.
Yeah.
If not, don't read it and just enjoy the surprises. And then I was just
Kind of
like,
cool. You guys got one of the stars from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be on your show.
yes, we got a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Alumnus.
Character. Alumnus.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
That's pretty cool.
I know. I just,
So that's a nice way to say it so people have to figure out who that is.
Yeah, who's this Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. guy you got?
Yeah. Why is he on your show?
I know.
You have to figure that out.
Yeah.
That's the way to say it without saying who it is.
Yeah. Cool. I like that. It's nice. And then on Sunday, I was just like, well, I promised Mark I would watch the Army of Dead movie on Netflix.
Army of the Dead, yes.
Because we got to review it today. So we're going to do it at the end of the show like we always do. I did watch it. I'm not going to say anything and how I feel until we get to that review. It took me one sitting. Then I stopped it because I just couldn't do it anymore. Then I picked it back up. Then I fell asleep in the last third act. So then I had to rewind it. So it took me 3 times to watch this thing.
Although the you falling asleep thing has nothing to actually say about the movie itself.
Listen.
That's just you.
That could have been just me and not... And this wasn't late at night, mind you.
You're an old man and you fall asleep all the time.
The problem is, on the weekends, I tend to go to bed a little bit later, like 10:30, 11. Yeah. But no matter what, my cats wake me up at 6 o'clock in the morning or earlier. So I'm always tired around 6 in the afternoon, and I could go for a nap. And I think
old man naps.
The movie was just, I was not into it, in the fact that I was tired. It put me to sleep.
It's a long movie, 2.5 hours.
Too long.
Yeah.
Too long. All right. So that happened.
About 2.5 hours.
That was my week, my weekend. And yesterday, me and Allison kind of like, we watched The Office all day. Like, we just got sucked into Comedy Central, had The Office on all day. She was doing some work from home. I had some editing to do.
Yeah.
So we just had it on the background. And before you know it, from 10 in the morning to like 10 p.m. at night, I was just like, we literally had The Office on all day.
A bunch of Office.
Yeah, and we did other things. Like, I was catching up on my editing for projects, and she was doing some work from home. And
it's like The Office and Friends are like those shows you can just put on in the background, and it's happening, and you like, oh yeah, it's cool.
And speaking of Friends, we did watch the this is the only thing I got to talk about for the week. We watched the Friends reunion, and it was like I got choked up a couple times. It was really cool to see them, but at the same time, it was very depressing because I was just like, they're forever young in those episodes that I've seen a million times. Forever young. And now you're like, holy crap, this show started when I was a teenager. I'm now 42 years old. They were in their 20s and 30s when doing the show.
You're 41 still for another couple weeks.
Yeah, I know. But my point being, they were in their 20s and 30s during the show. They are now in their 50s.
50s, close to 60s.
Yeah. And
they look it, except for Jennifer Aniston.
For me, I thought Lisa Kudrow still looks good.
Yeah.
She still looks young.
She looks like everyone's, like, every principal, like every teacher in every TV show or movie. She looks like
great.
That.
Jennifer Aniston sort of, like, she was doing some work to her face between now and, like, the last time she was in a movie. She looked a little weird. The only one... and
Schwimmer hasn't changed, like, barely at all.
Oh, Schwimmer, he got chubby in the face.
But a little bit. That's about it. But he looks basically the same. Same haircut, same everything.
Chandler, he looked weird. Matthew Perry. I mean, he had addiction problems, so I'm sure it had some toll on him. He looked healthy though, and I kind of like what he talked about, what he went through. Anxiety. So I thought it was cool. The only person that I was like, why, is Courtney Cox. She was like one of the best looking on the show. Her face.
She went through a lot of plastic surgery.
Too much Botox. And when she says, I'm not laughing, I'm crying, it's because we can't tell because your face literally looks the same.
It's frozen in place.
And I love her, and I have to feel I don't like, I have to look at it this way. Like, they were young and very attractive people when that show started, and they probably something they wanted to hold on to. And especially for women in Hollywood, it's a little bit different than guys. Guys can age. Women, if they hit a point, they don't get hired for things. So she probably wants to hold on to her youth, and I'm sure there's a mental illness that goes along with plastic surgery.
Well, I think too is everyone just assumes, like you were saying, where they're forever young, that every time they go on any kind of audition, people assume that person's walking through the door. They expect, like, Monica Geller to walk through the door. And if you don't look like that person, they're like, oh, well, how come you're not?
I honestly
Jennifer Aniston, like, how come you don't have the hair? Or Lisa Kudrow, how come you're not so hippy dippy?
But if Courtney Cox didn't do all the plastic surgery, I bet you she'd look great. I think she would look great. I think it's a mental illness in a way.
Get sucked in. A lot of them said like they got sucked into the perfection part of it. Like they have to be like that person.
People, Joan Rivers, okay, she died because of the amount of plastic surgery, and there was a documentary her daughter did with her. This happened years before her death. Of her, she was addicted to plastic surgery, and there was a point in time the doctor was like, "You got to stop. You could kill yourself because of some surgery she wanted." And her daughter was pleading with her, like, "Please, just stop." Like, and obviously, I think there is an addiction to making yourself look young. But sometimes you wish there was someone in that room going, no, stop. I think they're surrounded by too many yes people, not enough people that tell them no. But otherwise, I think my favorite person out of the whole reunion was Matt LeBlanc. He looked like an Italian mobster.
Like everyone's dad.
Yes.
Oh, he's sitting on the couch, like Claire even said, like he said that, like whatever he said on the couch, arms class, like he's got the dad pose. He's in the dad pose.
He's got the dad bod.
Like,
he's got
this is pretty Italian. Cool. Nice to see everybody. I like it. That's pretty cool.
This Italian gangster.
Yeah.
He's got the upper body chunk where his arms go like this high, and he's like. And then they were looking at the signatures that they all signed the back of the flat when the show went off the air.
Yeah.
And he wrote
I shit here.
Yeah, I shit here. And they're all laughing. That was the fucking funniest thing. It makes me like him even more. Like, his character was one of my favorites, but as a person,
he even said
I like him more as a person.
I've like seen interviews with him since that show ended, and he's always said like that was a curse because right after he did Friends, NBC tried to convince any of them to do a spinoff.
Well, he did Joey.
And he did Joey, and he was like, that was the worst decision probably I made in my career, is like, people just assume now I'm that guy, like I'm that character. So everything he does, like they try to, oh, well, why don't you just be the funny guy? Why don't you just be the goof guy?
Well, he did.
They did episodes, and that like changed everything for him. So
yeah, he did have successful with episodes.
Yeah.
But Joey was just god awful because the writing was bad. And the characters were bad.
It wasn't the same people or anything. It was all
but the Friends reunion, man, I got a little choked up here and there. The cameos were great. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but it was really. Did you and Claire watch it?
Claire and I both watched it together.
Yeah, me and Alice watched it.
She loved it. She thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
she's not a huge Friends fan, but she was like you said, like it's put in the background, watch it kind of thing. But she was like, it was really. She was laughing and got emotional at certain parts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean. It's one of those timeless shows for me, like Seinfeld. I've seen them a million times. I mean, I enjoy it, and at this point, it's just kind of cool to see him come back. And I like how they said, would they make a return, a movie, and they're like, no, it ended perfectly. We would have to undo all that, and I think that's what a lot of when a show comes back, you don't think about that. Like the show ended perfectly, but why would you have him
writers thought was perfectly?
Yeah. But why would you have him come back when you have to unwrap
certain shows that didn't like, I know there's some shows that the writers left like towards the end of the series. And so like the original writers, like here's how I would have ended it. So they want to go back and do things.
It's like Star Trek. It's like when they come back, they have to unravel like everyone's next generation's ending.
Story or whatever.
Yeah. So, sometimes it's worth it. I don't know. It depends on the viewer.
Like Star Wars, you have to unravel everyone's story. That ended really well in Return of the Jedi, and then put it in the 3 bad sequels.
The Last Jedi is the only one I really, really love out of the new ones. But overall, we talked about it a million times.
Yeah.
That last movie, man, I just can't get over Palpatine. Did you know? Speaking of Star Wars. Okay, I was thinking about this the other day. Basically, we're going to go on a tangent right now, real quick.
Before we go on your tangent, can we talk about what I did over the last week?
Oh, yeah, all right. But I got something for you. I got something.
Because you'll go on a tangent, and then we'll forget, and then I'll never get it out.
All right. What?
And I watched something I want to talk about.
All right, okay.
There's a show on HBO Max, which I enjoy, or was looking forward to. Shadow and Bone. It's based off a book. I want to check it out. It's slow burn, so if you get into it, it's set in like a fantasy world, like they call them Grishas, like wizards and stuff like that. Takes a while to get going, but once you get into it, it gets better by the end of the season. It was really good. I'd suggest it if you're into that kind of thing.
Cool.
I started watching the last season of Lucifer on Netflix as well. Watched Army of the Dead, like we said. I watched it weeks ago when it first came out, thinking that's when we were going to talk about it.
It was a week ago. It was only
Brian, like a jerk, didn't watch it, so I had to sit on it for a week. Finished Invincible, the comic book version,
which is crazy that you've read them all.
Yeah, amazing. I'd suggest it if you're looking for something to read next. Started reading The Boys.
Nice.
That's my next one. So I'm in just finished the first book. of
The
the boys.
I would say, and well,
way different than the TV show.
Already. Oh yeah, I have all the volumes. I would say the middle volumes, it slows down a little bit because you're going into some history. But it pays off. It pays off. So a part of me was just like, it's a little slow here, but it pays off, and it's worth it for the whole journey, I think. But so don't be discouraged if you get to that slow part. You're like, this is a little slow, but
what's also interesting too is, I don't know, because I think you said that they're black and white, the graphic novels. Are they black and white?
No, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Why? They're color.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd said at one point that maybe it was the original comics were black and white or something. No. I heard that somewhere, but maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. They're color.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah, you're making me question it, but yeah, they're color.
Okay, all right. Because I went to read it and it's color. I was like, oh, I thought it was black and white.
No, it's color.
Okay. Maybe maybe another book that we were talking about that was black and white.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm reading not those size. I'm reading like the size below that, like the smaller, like the 5.
Scott Pilgrim was in black and white, but then they re-released it in color.
Maybe that's what I was
years later.
Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe.
But yeah, no. The first book I read, it's good so far. It's definitely a slower burn in the comic than it is in the show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Huey being a different nationality is interesting.
Well, he's Irish.
Yeah. Well, Scottish,
but he's Simon Pegg.
Yeah. Basically,
he's based off of Simon. They loved him in Shaun of the Dead. They loved his character in God, what was the show? Basically, they just loved him, and they asked he gave him permission to use his likeness.
Yeah, because he does the forward on the first book,
right?
That I got, so.
And that's why Simon Pegg played his dad in the show.
Yeah,
because they were like, well, he's too old now.
Yeah, to be that person. So,
but to have him as his dad, I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, but it's crazy to see the closeness of the characters, like casting wise. Like the guy who plays Butcher looks exactly like the comic book character, basically.
Yeah, minus the
guy who plays Mother's Milk and the Frenchman and the woman.
Yeah,
like they did such a good job of casting all those characters, even the 7 and all the superheroes, except for the Deep, which is different. But
right, yeah, I can't wait to get to the end because the end is dark, and I'm really interested to see if they go when you get there. Maybe we can have a deep thought. We can have an episode talking about the comic because I think that'd be kind of fun.
Okay, but yeah, that's basically what I've done all week, and just a lot of work. It's a very busy week for work for some reason.
Me too. Well, the last 2 weeks, our big finale for us is graduation this week, and then after that, summertime, baby. If graduation and the weather, who knows what will happen. Yeah. But here, my quick thought about Star Wars. So
going into your weird thought about Last Jedi, the last Skywalker or whatever it was.
The whole thing now. Palpatine, the main focus here. In the Disney Marvel comics, a couple years ago, they made canon that we got confirmation that Palpatine is the one that impregnated Anakin's mom.
Yes.
So really, he's the father.
Yes.
Because in episode
he's Luke Skywalker's grandfather.
Well, in episode 2 or 3, he talks about Pegasus and how he can create life. And he tells him this story, and we're like, is he trying to insinuate that maybe
Darth Plagueis?
Darth Plagueis, maybe, because he learned from him. So is he implying that he could potentially, the mom, she became pregnant with no father, just a miracle. So in the comic, they made that canon.
Yeah.
So then fast forward. So basically, Anakin gives birth to Luke and Leia, right?
Yeah.
Then you have Leia and Han Solo giving birth to Ben Solo.
Yes.
And then you go back, and Palpatine somehow had his own kids.
Yeah.
And then they had a kid.
They gave birth to Rey.
They gave birth to Rey.
So they're cousins.
So basically, the whole Skywalker trilogy comes from one man.
Yeah.
Who just has offspring that fight.
Well, the thing is, too, is they never explain either in the comic book or in the movie if like Rey's parents, whichever one was a Palpatine,
right?
If they were actually like his kids, like by actual like situations,
or if one of them was,
or if it was like Anakin, where they were just like the mother got pregnant, because he might not just done that to one woman. He might have done it to a bunch of women. To try to find like his like.
But what boggles my mind is they brought Palpatine back, and it doesn't sit well with me in that last movie to bring him back because it made no sense. He was nowhere else to be seen in the first two movies, but he is like he literally just gave birth to things so they would fight. And then create chaos, and then he cloned himself at the end. He basically cloned himself to come back to life to take Rey on.
They want to take their life force so they can.
I know, it was so stupid.
There was an interesting story. It just wasn't told well.
Palpatine should not have shown up in that last movie. I think it would have been so much more interesting not to have Palpatine involved, because it really just, you're kind of falling back in old tropes that we've,
that's
I don't know. Anyway, I just think it boggles my mind that Palpatine basically just gave birth to the entire, everybody we love. He somehow he's the reason for them.
Well, that's the whole stick of it's kind of the background stick of the story.
I know, but it's so silly. Like, you're kind of like, wow, so this guy just came, his whole
it's lineage, really, if you really look at the whole series,
family.
Well, if we look at all 9 episodes, like just together as a unit, like how the story goes, it's told like it's a story of Skywalker, but it's really the story of Palpatine, how he like becomes a senator, takes over, the Republic, turns it into an empire, then like his fall at the end of Return of the Jedi.
And he didn't need to come back.
Like his fall, and then like even in video games and comic books, they said like he had put his consciousness inside different droids and different things, because he was, as he said in one of the prequels, the scene that you were talking about with Darth Plagueis, he was talking about trying to find a way to keep himself immortal.
I know.
And they'd said it in comic books too. Like he had put himself, like there was clones, like he had worked on that with the.
I don't know. It's just not interesting.
Like Kaminoans or Kaminoans or whatever they call them.
I know. It just blows my mind. That's all.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why
it's a very in-depth, like in the books and comic books and stuff. It goes deeper into that and explains it better than what the movie did.
Yeah.
But like if they had like Palpatine as like the background bad from the start of the first Force Awakens movie,
it would have
made more sense than him just appearing in.
Right.
But I guess that was like the difference with Abrams and the other guy, because Abrams was like gonna have him show up in that second movie.
No, they had no plan, Mark.
I know, but I'm saying he would have said like I would have put him in the second movie, and then it would have made sense for the third movie.
Yeah,
that's the thing of having 3 random people do 3 different movies that have no connection to each other.
Yes, ultimately, it falls on the shoulders of Kathleen Kennedy for saying, yes, let's take one of the beloved franchises, have 3 random people make 3 random movies,
that don't connect,
and have no plan.
Yeah,
that's the part that boggles my mind.
Yeah,
you don't sit there and go, we want A, B, and C, and D to happen. Here's the 3 movies. These things need to happen. It's just kind of like, good luck to you.
And it's even more amazing now that when you watch like the Filoni stuff, even like Mandalorian and now even Bad Batch,
there's a plan.
The storytelling in both of them are so well done.
Yeah.
And like the thought process of like, oh my gosh, imagine what Filoni would do if he was able to have done the sequels.
Yeah.
It'd have been amazing.
Well, he's basically the second coming of George Lucas. I mean,
Yeah.
he's like George Lucas in a different body. He is Palpatine put himself in a clone. George Lucas cloned himself, and that's him. That's Filoni, basically. Filoni is like he's like the
Filoni's mom just immaculately
gave birth to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
George Lucas like just impregnated her without
the walking encyclopedia of Star Wars.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he loves the prequels.
Yeah.
He's a prequel fanatic.
Well, that's why he did Clone Wars and everything like that.
So anyway, I mean, I still love Star Wars, obviously, and I think there's great things in all of them.
Yeah.
But those are my thoughts about the prequels. Sometimes.
Speaking of Disney stuff, though, you know what we should talk about next Monday? Loki starts next Wednesday.
Well, we can't really talk about it because we would not have seen it yet.
So I'm saying we should like preview it, like I'm saying.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, Mark. Time for news. I got 2 news.
All right.
Okay. So Sony has come out and says there is a plan. Thank you, Sony. For the Spider-Man universe to the MCU. Sony executive Stanford said that the Spider-Man No Way Home will kick off a shared Marvel universe.
Oh boy.
Speaking to Variety, the president of Sony Music Motion Picture Group appeared to confirm that there is an actual plan to connect Spider-Man universe to the MCU with Spider-Man.
That was already set in place, kind of.
Well, hold on. Yeah. The Spider-Man 3 possibly opening the door for Peter Parker's alter ego to swing between movies and tangle with different characters as part of a shared Marvel universe. I think what he's saying is they were already connected. Now, this is technically the last one in the contract for Marvel and Sony. But it sounds to me like the partnership's really good and they will continue. Yeah. And they're saying that now they want Peter Parker or Spider-Man to maybe go into these other properties that Sony's producing.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're trying to say. There is an actual plan.
Because I think it's also thinking too is how long is Sony's rights to Spider-Man last?
As long as they keep making movies. That's it.
Is that the contract?
Yeah. That's why they always have to make a movie. Once they have it. They have the rights, and they're making money. The contract's not going to run out.
I'm going to say like that's like the thing because I bet you like Marvel on the Marvel side of things, it's like, you know, if you don't do something, we're taking this back instantly. So,
well, they can't take it back. They could buy it back.
Well, if the contract goes away, I'm saying
right. I don't think that's.
So I think that Sony's the one that's holding on for dear life to keep Spider-Man more than Marvel's doing.
Yeah, there's no way.
It just makes sense to connect them together.
Yeah. Hold on. So there is a plan. I think now maybe it's getting a little more clear for people where they're headed. And I think when No Way Home comes out, even more will be revealed. So this
December, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
the great thing is we have a excellent relationship with Kevin Feige, he added. There's an incredible sandbox there to play with. We want those MCU movies to be absolutely huge because that's great for us and our Marvel characters. And I think that's the same thing on the other side. There's lots of opportunities, I think, that are going to happen. So I think they're just saying, I think now they're more in a happy place because remember before there was that like, they're pulling it. But I think now it's just like with the Incredible Hulk, there's more trust between the companies now, I think. So basically, coming up, we have Venom, Let There Be Carnage, coming up in 2021. Morbius, 2022.
Yes.
And Kraven the Hunter in 2023.
Yes, so they just cast as a...
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yes, Quicksilver.
Yep. So
from the Avengers.
He will be playing Kraven.
Yeah.
So I think basically they're saying they're creating a Spider-Man universe on Sony's side but they want that to be part of the MCU, and they want to have it to be. They want Spider-Man to appear in these other properties.
Oh yeah, because they get more money that way.
Right, but
both people benefit from it.
Right, and I think that's what they're saying, and I think this is good. I think it's good for us. Obviously, it's good for them. They're going to make money, but it's good for the fans that we could have a little bit more better synergy there, and I think that's I think it's a good thing. And then one of my favorite franchises in video game history, the Far Cry series, Far Cry 6 is coming out this October, October 7th to be exact, and it's going to take place in Cuba.
Oh man.
And
isn't Esposito in it?
Yes, he plays the main villain. Takes place in the 1950s and 60s as inspiration. Guerrilla fighters in Cuba. This is the first Far Cry game where you're going to have your normal jungles and deserts, but you're going to have cities. You're going to have
like Havana.
You can something you didn't really have. You had little bungalows and you had jungle, you had fortresses, but now you have a city,
like little towns and stuff like that.
So I'm looking forward to it. There was a trailer this past week, and gameplay trailer, which was really cool. They're bringing the buddy system back. The buddy system was in 5 that took place in Montana, and buddy system was like someone you can have along with you, an AI character, and they had special abilities, and once they died, they were locked out for like 5-10 minutes, and then you can call on them at any time. It was kind of cool. So they showed off one of the little buddies, and it was a little wiener dog, and his back legs are wheels. So he's in a little like doggy wheelchair. Yeah, and then he shows up on the ground. He's all cute and adorable. So then the guard will walk over like, "Hey, buddy, how's it going?" And you can walk up behind the guard and get him. It's kind of cool.
Nice.
So hopefully they'll put out more stuff like that. And the new Horizon game trailer came out, which was freaking amazing for PlayStation 5. That comes. They haven't released a date on that, but looks beautiful. I'm very excited for that game. So many games. I gotta start beating stuff. I have like no time. I think I played Yakuza on Saturday morning for like 4 hours, and I think that's the most I gamed at all this weekend. I'm hoping to beat that game soon so I can play Resident Evil. And that's all I got for news, Mark. Do you have anything?
Speaking of movie trailers, I don't know if you saw the trailer for the new M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I did see the trailer. I don't know how I feel about it.
For Old?
Yeah, it looks kind of interesting, but it was weird. It showed that woman. She's like all of a sudden she's just giving birth. Yeah, and people basically you're aging. You're going through all. You're speeding up your body's process on this. Yeah. Beach. I don't know how I feel. It could be good.
It's like The Beach. It seemed like to me.
It is on
like what I'm saying, but like that kind of like.
I've never seen a movie like this, Mark. I don't know what you heard.
Well, no, it's just like you're trapped on a beach. It's like the movie The Beach. It was all set on this one little area. It was very small. So I don't know. I'm not a big M. Night Shyamalan guy, but I know you are. So that's how I was like, oh, Brian, I think this is good.
I am. I don't know. I saw a new trailer for it, and I am in the middle. I want to see it, but I'm optimistically like I hope it's good. I don't know. I don't know. Like I'm not super excited for it, but at the same time, I don't. I just hope it's good, right? I don't know. I don't know if it's a theater movie for me or not. I don't really know. I guess I want to see what the verdict is on this one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's also another news that we didn't talk about last week that happened. Officially, finally, Marvel announced probably the worst kept casting secret that has ever been in the Marvel Universe.
Oh.
Oscar Isaacs is officially now cast as Moon Knight.
which we knew all along.
Yeah, but it's just everyone. It's like official. Marvel announced it finally, as opposed to everyone else kind of just saying that it's going to happen. So
I'm excited. Moon Knight is an amazing character.
It is. He's amazing. It's going to be a Disney Plus show. It's not going to be a movie. So
yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm very.
There's another movie trailer that came out that now I'm trying to remember what it was, and I was like, "Oh man, I want to talk about this," and now I can't remember it. It's a movie that comes out in July, I think. I can't think of it top of my head right now, but it'll come around. It'll pop up in my head sooner or later.
Black Widow?
No, it was a non big movie, but I was like, oh, that looks good.
Huh.
I don't want to watch some kind of YouTube thing.
All right. Well,
but anyways, it'll pop up in my.
Shall we get into our review of Army of the Dead?
Yes.
Are you ready for this, Mark?
Oh, I remember what it was now.
See, I knew it.
Edgar Wright is releasing a new movie in October.
I haven't watched it yet. I haven't
watched Last Night in Soho.
It's a horror movie.
I will probably not watch this because it looks like it's gonna scare the bejesus out of me. But I was like, it looks video like shot wise, the way that he shot it and the way the trailer is done, it looks like stunning. The use of light and everything that he has in it looks amazing. And I'm like, that would be the only reason why I'd want to see it, probably.
What's it called?
Last Night in Soho.
All right, I'm gonna watch it right now.
Okay.
That was good.
Yeah, right?
October. That's gonna be Matt Smith's in that.
Matt Smith is in it.
What's her name?
Hunter Joy, who was just the host of Saturday Night Live, Queen's Gambit. And the main girl, she looks familiar. I can't remember where she's from, but she looks familiar.
It's Anna Taylor-Joy.
Anna Taylor-Joy, yes.
And then Tomasin McKenzie.
She just looks familiar. I don't know where I've seen her from.
She does look familiar.
Yeah.
But that was really good. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. That's the first time I watched that trailer. That looks really good. It's kind of like psychological thriller, a little bit horror in there. Like what the hell's going on? It's also
like the first actual horror movie that Edgar Wright's done. Like he dabbled with like Shaun of the Dead.
Well, yeah.
And this is
that was a full-fledged zombie movie.
The pub at the end of the world.
That wasn't horror. That was sci-fi.
But it was all like that kind of like he's dabbled in like all those different things. So it's like it's.
Have you seen Baby Driver? Baby Driver.
Yeah, Baby Driver. Yeah,
it was awesome.
But like the way he shoots things, it's like he knows how to like scare people. Yeah. Like he knows like how to shoot things in a way to make it look like amazing, but then also like
interesting.
It should be scary as all get out, and I will never see it. So it's gonna be good.
I'll
have to hear how you like it.
I'm excited for that one. I think I'll see that in the theater. Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to that way more than the beach movie.
Yeah, old,
or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So let's get into the movie that nobody's talking about.
Everyone's talking about this movie. It seems
nobody. I don't know anybody but us because
it's the biggest movie on Netflix ever.
No,
go by John Francia.
It's not. It's the top 9. It's the 9th biggest movie on Netflix. The 9th. And before we get into it, I can give you the top Netflix movies. The top
favorite Adam Sandler movies.
Here is the top most popular movies on Netflix right now.
Okay.
Blue Miracle, Sabotage, The Woman in the Window, Madagascar 3. Oh wait, no, Netflix originals we have to do.
No, top. Let's say here we go. I don't know any of those movies.
Yeah, it is. Here, the best Netflix original movies of 2021 so far.
Yes.
The Dig, The White Tiger, Pieces of a Woman, Red Dot, Outside the Wire, Pigeon Bloom, Finding Ohana, I Care a Lot. I have not.
I only know
seen
the
any.
Wire one because Anthony Mackie's in it.
Yeah. Anyway,
I mean to watch that too because it's very. It seems like it's a cool movie because he plays an android.
I
He's
heard
in the army, but they don't know like he doesn't. It's not announced he's an android, and then like he does some bad stuff and
bad stuff.
Anyway,
so we saw one of the. It's very popular. But
like I said, being one of the top movies on Netflix is like being one of the best direct-to-movie releases in the old rental days.
It kind of is. I hate to say it, but Netflix doesn't put out. It puts out quantity, not quality.
Yes,
quantity.
I mean, this is during the whole thing that they mentioned at the beginning of the year that they're going to release a new movie a week.
Right.
So that means there's 52 some odd movies that they're releasing this year.
And I could name you this
Four
just
of them.
one. I haven't seen any of them really.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this movie came out. I like Snyder's films. I was on the high after seeing the Snyder cut. I really loved it, and I was looking forward to this.
Never figured out who it was.
I was looking forward to this movie, seeing the trailer, knowing what he did with Dawn of the Dead, which he did not write. James Gunn wrote that. He only directed it.
Whereas this one, he wrote and directed.
And he did cinematography.
Yes.
Boo.
Yes.
I hated that shit. He is just fucking get rid of that camera. Just
there's ways to use that camera to make it make sense.
Once in a while. But the whole fucking movie?
Do like 9 different shots of it. And it doesn't work well with green screen.
Dude, that depth of field stuff makes everything look fake. And you want to have an emotional moment, sure, use it. But he used it for almost the entire movie. It just made me feel like I was watching a cheap high budget direct to DVD movie. Yeah.
And like the more like I've looked into it and the more you've talked to me about like the things that you've gone back and found out about it, it just makes you ask, why? So stupid. Why Zack Snyder? Why?
So dumb. I know.
You're in 2021 and you're gonna have these things going on in your movie.
So going into this, I was excited. I was.
It looked the trailer that we'd seen. We showed the trailer on the show.
The trailer looked awesome.
Like probably about 4 or 5 months ago now, I think.
It was nothing like the trailer. Nothing
like the trailer. It was one of those, it's like a normal Zack Snyder movie. The trailers are better than the movies.
I would say, for me, the beginning montage, which I feel went way too long. But
the whole movie went way too long. It was 2.5 hours.
I know. But I looked at my clock. It was like 13 minutes, this whole beginning montage.
Yeah.
The beginning part, when Richard Cheese kicks in, I'm like on board. I was on board. I'm like, this is fun. You see a bunch of topless women chasing this guy in slow motion. I'm like, yes, this is fun, silly. Let's go fun. I know, but hold on. Let me finish my thought.
Roll back in a second.
This is the very beginning.
So the way the movie starts is bonkers to begin with.
I know, but let me finish my thought.
The fact that there's the way that this is going to, the whole movie is set up is that the government.
I know. Hold on. We're going to get to that. I know. Hold on.
It makes no sense. It's off the rails from the beginning.
Let's not talk over each other. Let me finish a thought. You can go into your thought. My thought is that opening montage, I was on board with that. I liked that beginning part, thinking I want more of that. But of course, we skimmed out over the entire zombie apocalypse and they just give us the aftermath like they always do. And that's the not fun part. Now, to go back to what you're saying, the movie starts off with 2 people that just got married. They're on a single road out in the desert in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And she decides to give him roadhead.
Yes.
And that's how you're going to give us this zombie breakout.
What they do is they set it up as there's the government military are transporting an asset.
Zombie. Why are these people so dumb? Why are they
like so like doofy? Like just like, hey man, what do you think we're transporting? An alien? A popcorn machine? It's like
you are in a caravan of highly secured cargo, and your 2 guys driving the truck are dumber than shit.
And how can the guy that's
What are we
driving the
taking?
truck?
I don't know. A UFO man? An alien?
Well, my thing is, how is the guys like? They would never be that close to each other, where the Humvee would move away, and the people driving the truck would not be able to see what's coming towards them.
The light was shining on that guy.
Secondarily,
did not swerve. He did not swerve.
The reason for that Humvee in the front is so the Humvee in the front takes the blow for the truck behind it.
Right.
So theoretically, the Humvee should have crashed into the car.
The cargo should have been fine.
And then the truck should have just drove right through the Humvee and the car. And
the cargo lands, the door is closed, but then the door just opens.
Yes. Like it's magical, like it's like we didn't build it. We didn't expect it to be able to fly through the air and land on the ground. What do you expect?
It should be locked. It should be locked.
Yeah.
Like what? Okay, so you're telling me that that's how easy it is to open that door?
And why are you transporting it by ground in the first place?
Why are you transporting it at all?
Exactly.
Why? Why does it need to go anywhere?
Why is this even a thing? Like, why? There's no backstory to why they're making this character.
All the characters in this movie are dumb. You just have to realize they're all dumb. Like they make dumb decisions. They say dumb things. You kind of feel like this movie was written in the early 2000s. If this movie came out in 2020, like in 2000,
2002, 2003, it'd be perfect.
Perfect. I would have been like, oh, just a dumb movie.
The thing with this movie
now, it's so dumb.
As I was watching it, I'm thinking to myself, this is what happens when you give, like, after a teenager sees his first zombie film and then is like a fan of Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to write my own script.
Yeah. I kind of
This is what the result would be.
Mark, this is the first time I watched a zombie movie where I just didn't I was not scared by zombies. And then a part of me was like, oh my God.
I was annoyed by zombies in this movie.
I over zombies? Because I could care less. These zombies are not frightening. They're not scary. They're just weird. You have a king and queen.
They weren't even like zombies. They were more like, it reminded me like they were like I Am Legend. Like they're mutants more than they're zombies.
Yeah. And then you have a king and queen zombie.
Yeah.
And then he rides a horse and he wears a metal protection
thing, but doesn't wear the metal thing when he's on the helicopter.
Which that's the time he needed it.
Yes.
And he had a cape.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And then and then the queen, like she's like I don't know. And then there was a fetus in her. Well, come to find out, digging in there's 3 girls who get kidnapped. Why did he kidnap 3 women and put them up top? And like, why were these zombies
not change them immediately, like he did
and not eat them?
Security guy,
right? So
the thought process is that he impregnates these women.
The zombies will rape,
yes,
real people to
make
create
more zombies.
Zombies. That's the movie doesn't tell you that, but there's an article online that does.
Yes, which is a perfect time for that movie to come out. In the middle of all the stuff that's going on in the world.
Raping zombies. We want raping zombies.
Because, that's what we want. That's what people were asking for.
Raping. And then
robot zombies, which you said. I was like, robot zombies?
A zombie got blasted in the face and you see like red eyes.
Like blue eyes.
Well, what happened was the government put robot zombies in there to kind of like corral and keep a watchful eye on the zombies. But the movie doesn't tell you this.
I didn't say any of that.
That's in an article I read online.
That's in the director's cut, which will be coming out in a couple months, which is 6 hours long.
No. Scary part is, Mark, this is what happens when Zack Snyder gets to do whatever he wants. Because this is his... There is no movie...
You can't blame anybody for this one.
Right,
You can't blame the Warner Brothers. You can't blame...
It's all him.
Like anyone else.
This
you
movie
can't
was all
say
him.
that someone else directed the movie that he wanted to direct.
Yeah.
And reshot his movie for him.
He wrote it.
This should prove to everyone that Zack Snyder is a terrible director and a terrible writer and should not be allowed to do.
I'm not going to say that because I like when he directs other things.
No, he shouldn't be allowed to make his own stuff.
No, I think he should not be allowed to write.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
he could co-write it or have someone help him. But the fact is, someone should have been there going, okay.
Well, the scary thing is they did have someone help him write this. There was someone that wrote.
He wrote the screenplay. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe things where someone else and him wrote this movie.
Well, that person should have done a better job of corralling him in because it was horrible. My biggest gripe with this movie is you find out we have a bomb coming. You have a half an hour. So Batista and his woman friend decided to have a
in-depth
heart-to-heart family matter conversation about their love, their family drama. And you're like, okay, you should be doing that later. Like,
well, my thing on that whole part of the movie is
time does
why
not
are you
matter
going back up the elevator? You don't know how long the generator is going to work. You had a out with that ladder and the gate for that the girl went out.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you just go that way? Because that's like an actual thing you could control.
All the tropes. You had the military guy who basically Paul Reiser from Alien. Like he literally was the same character. It was very Alien-esque. We knew he was going to.
He gets beaten up by a zombie tiger.
That went on way too long.
Which is a super-powered zombie tiger.
That went. That was like, it was kind of cool, but then it was just kind of like, all right, get on with it. I didn't think the zombie tiger was that cool, to be honest with you.
No, it was neat for like the 1 second you saw it. Then it was like, oh, zombie tiger, cool.
Also, you had that cool shot where you see them all and they're fighting zombies, and then it cuts away, and it was like a kind of like a fantasy, I guess.
Even more than that.
I wanted
going
more
back
of that.
to earlier in the movie. Batista rounds up his crew. Forget the fact that the Tig Notaro parts don't match up with the actual movie and don't look the same.
Wait. Let's talk about Tig Notaro.
It's probably the worst green screen ever in a movie.
No, I thought it was really well done, but her attitude does not match the attitude of their energy and her energy. Yeah. I wanted more of her.
Like Tig Notaro's in a different movie. That's what I was saying as I'm watching this. I'm like, does Tig Notaro know she's in this movie?
Did they show her the footage
for a different movie?
Because it felt like she was talking to someone completely different.
It's like they gave her. It's like she got the script and she actually knew how to act, and she was good at it.
She's not a good actor, but
I mean, she's in the Star Trek show, and she's really good in that. And it's that same kind of character.
Her snark,
so it's like she knew how to do the character. Whereas everyone else in it didn't know how to act their character.
But
Dave Bautista should not have been the star of the movie.
They're acting.
He's a good actor, but not a star.
Chris D'Elia, but I don't know how he delivered his lines. But the way they deliver their lines is so deadpan.
Yeah.
And then she's got
energy. So over the top. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm like, yeah, I liked when she was on. I liked it, and because I knew about the whole situation, I was just kind of. I paid more attention because the movie was so boring to me. I was really paying attention to like.
Well, and the thing too is the thing that threw me off, knowing the switch and all that and how that happened. The scene where they first meet her at the airport,
the fence
in between them, the kind of just distracted by. But the way Batista and the other character are acting towards her,
it's so different, so different.
You could tell they're definitely like didn't shoot it with her because she's like acting one way. And they're like responding in not the way that her actions were.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. Like she's like really hyper and all this stuff. And they're like, man, she's crazy. It's like, what? It's like, that makes no sense.
I know.
But even crazier than that is when they get into the refugee camp right before they go in. My thing is, how do these people just wander in there? They're all hanging out there, having a planning meeting, and only one guard notices it.
Or YouTubers are coming in and doing like shooting zombies on YouTube. Like, how are they getting in? Like, it makes no sense. No sense. And okay, so the guy comes in, right, and he says, "I want you to get the money that's trapped underneath my casino." Why didn't he just give him the code?
Yeah.
Why? Like, it's your casino. You should know the code.
Or if the company the people that you should at least, if you're able to get the blueprints of the building, you figured they would have got in touch with the guy who made the vault and been like, hey, we'll cut you in out of the 50 million that's in there. We'll give you a cut.
And then I know like they sent in the military guy basically was like, we need his mission was I got to get the blood or the head.
Well, he was a spy for the Japanese guy. That was his whole thing.
That was basically really
the vault wasn't really the thing that they were going in for. He was just sending him in to use them as like bait.
Yes, so
to
they
get
can
what he needed.
And they end up ultimately not getting that. So,
No.
But they got the money, but then they all pretty much die.
Yeah.
Except for
The daughter.
The daughter.
And the other military guy, the black guy.
No, because he got bitten. So
I know, but in the movie part, you don't realize that until the very end, after the credits.
That part was so dumb because he would have died from radiation poisoning.
He would have been instant. But as soon as he popped out of that little hatch,
I know.
He would have vaporized.
Here, Mark. Now, this whole movie was about them getting out of there in a half an hour, but this asshole gets out of a safe that was just blown up, walks.
Yeah.
That same night.
Miles.
He walks right out and
Miles.
He gets to an airport or an airplane.
Which everything's fine at, even though a nuclear bomb just went off like 2 hours ago.
Dude, I think it was daytime when he got, so maybe it took him all night to walk there.
But even still, that's still like, it's still in the radius that you would at least have some kind of glow from the bomb. It would have like taken out some of the buildings at least. It would have just been hunky-dory hanging out at the airport.
They gave us that thing at the end. So basically, he's going to turn into a zombie on a plane, kill everybody, and that will just continue the cycle.
Yes, and then it's in Mexico now.
Right. Well, whatever. Yeah, like they're going to make a sequel that, whatever. All these characters to me were all like,
I did not care that anyone died.
I couldn't even tell you a goddamn name. Everybody says the crack saver. No, he was lame. I didn't care.
When they were talking about in the group, they were talking about they're going to do a prequel with him.
It's already
leading survivors out. It's like, who is he leading? He can't do anything.
Now
the guy was a paranoid. Like, he was tweaking out every time he had to do anything.
I know. He was not funny. He was not. He was like,
you couldn't you can't take a character who was a scaredy cat and then turn him into like a survivor story where he like gets out of some place. So if he was a survivor of a zombie part of some kind of zombie apocalypse, wouldn't he have had, when he goes into this movie, some kind of knowledge of zombies and not been so like tweaked out of zombies?
All right.
That makes no sense.
I know.
Like if you're going to do a prequel to this movie, the prequel should be that 13-minute story that they showed, where they showed Batista's group like going around saving people because of the zombies attacking. That would be another movie by itself.
I would like a movie where that montage happened. I wish that was the movie.
That's what I'm saying. That would have been the movie, the prequel. That's what they should have shown.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So this movie is featuring Ludwig Dieter. That was his name.
Yeah.
In my opinion, all these characters were boring as shit. So I could care.
I couldn't tell you anyone's character's name.
No.
I couldn't even tell you Batista's character's name, and he was the main character.
All I could tell you is that he wanted a restaurant. He wanted a food truck.
He wanted to open a restaurant or food truck of some sort with the money that he'd got from this heist. He
was a big cook. He liked cooking.
Yeah.
So this is coming out in 2021. It's already been
besides the fact that the unbelievability of Dave Bautista as a short order cook.
I know.
It's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Anyway. And those glasses just didn't work.
Mark, hold on. Okay, stop. Army of Thieves, it's called. It's already been produced. It's been completed. So this was already made in conjunction with this movie. It is set before the events of Army of the Dead, which focuses on Dieter's leading a group of survivors during the zombie apocalypse. Like you said, he's a weenie. How does
that make sense?
And it is considered a comedy. It is in the comedy genre. It's a comedy horror zombie movie.
Is it a Zack Snyder movie?
Nope. It's directed by someone completely different. And it is written by Shay Hatton, Zack Snyder, and Shay Hatton.
That's the guys that wrote Army.
Shay Hatton wrote the screenplay, and Snyder and Shay Hatton wrote the story. So at least the screenplay is not written by Snyder. I will not be watching this one.
No, I will not be.
I don't care how good the trailer is. I'm gonna stay away from it.
I'm sorry. I've as I'm watching this movie, I was literally saying, Zack Snyder, you've stole 7 hours of my life this year.
You like the Justice League cut, though. You like the cut.
Not enough to the fact that I'm like thrilled that I had to sit through 4 hours of it.
This movie should have been an hour and 40. It should not have
An hour
been
and a
2 hours.
half. You could have scrubbed an hour out of this movie and still
I'm
been
being
fine.
kind. An hour and 40. You could have got rid of some of this stuff.
There's no reason a movie should be over 2 hours unless it's like a huge like finale type movie. It's like a series, like Avengers Endgame or something like that, where you're like you need to get all this information out.
It was long in the tooth. To me, it was boring.
The acting was subpar.
Stale. It was stale acting. I didn't care about the zombies.
Like we've said before, we did not care about any of the characters.
No. You know what's the cool part? When they actually went to Vegas, granted, you thought it was just like a boring version of Vegas, but when they actually went to that casino and all the lights came on, and they killed, that was like, I'm like, wow.
That was very Zombieland. For me, it was very Zombieland. That's all.
I wish we had more of that. And then the only part that I really enjoyed was them trying to get the safe open, and it's booby trapped, so they warm up a hand in a microwave. Where did they find the microwave in a bank vault? And then
it was in the little break room there.
And I was wondering, why is electricity still happening?
Because they turned the generator on. They put gas in the generator.
The entire city of Las Vegas is running.
No, just that building.
Oh, yeah, you're right. See, I forgot about that.
They were just the one casino, so that's why.
So that was kind of cool. But
for the amount of gas that they put in there, there's no way that kept that whole building running.
Right. And it wasn't a bank heist movie. They just basically did that one little thing, had to crack a code.
And then everyone died.
And everyone dies. It wasn't a bank heist movie at all. I don't even know what kind of movie this was.
It wasn't. There was no real story to it. It made no sense.
There was no story for a 2 hour.
It's like there was like background stories that made that like
made you want, like they're like, oh, this is gonna make you feel.
Like, isn't this something that we should have been explained? Like,
the
scene where they cut to where the guy calls the guy who gets the head of the queen zombie. Calls the Asian guy,
right?
And there's all these generals standing around.
Yeah,
like okay, like that should have been something there should have been some kind of connection there to kind of explain what that's going on.
Also,
it's like it was a lot of what's going on. You could figure this out on your own. It's like, well, no, that's not how movies work. You're supposed to tell us what's going on,
right? But they spent time during a pivotal moment to take a break to talk about the family.
Yeah, and then just have her head get
drama.
Yeah.
That was a cool kill. So they had some cool kills, but for a rated R movie, they would pan away from a lot of the kills too. And I'm like, but why?
Then like the things when these people get killed, you're like, thank God.
Yeah.
I'm not even like, it's not like, oh, that's terrible. It's, oh, thank God they're not. I don't have to listen to them talk anymore.
I'm kind of happy everybody died at the end because I don't.
And then like
they have like
they tried to do the tropey family thing with him turning and.
Oh God, that was
just double
horrible.
tap him. It's like
so predictable. And I love soundtracks, and Zack Snyder to me has made some amazing soundtracks with a lot of his films. This was highly disappointing. For me, it was like, here is a high energy zombie film that you want to have fun with, but we're going to play downer acoustic versions of really great songs that don't put you in the mood. It took me out of the mood. Like, am I at a Starbucks? Where am I?
It was like all the tropiness. It was just too many tropes. It was like he fell into every trope that he could find.
Oh yeah.
Like the one scene where they're walking through the hibernating zombies.
Oh my God.
Zombies hibernate.
It's like we've seen this before in Silent Hill. We've seen this
also
before
in the I Am Legend. The zombies don't come out till at night now. It's like they're only nighttime zombies, so you can do anything you want during the day. But once it's nighttime, it's zombie time.
We've seen it so many times. You know what took me out of that scene? They do the thing
with the glow sticks, and then they throw the glow stick down the hallway. I was like, oh, come on.
You know what took me out of that scene? The camera work. Yet again, using that red digital camera, everything was like that focus. So everything just looked fake. And I had no depth of field here. I just have this weird, everything's out of focus except everything in front of me. I hated it. Bothered me a lot. It bothered me a lot, more than it should have. And I think that took me out of the movie a lot, is that stupid camera he used. I'm like,
then my thing was like, okay, so we know that the main zombie guy, or Zombie King has like his squadron of zombies.
Yeah.
So these are the zombies that didn't make the cut that are in this hallway.
Why is there only one out of all those zombies? That's what bothers. I'm like, there's only one, and why they take the elevator? These zombies know how to use elevators. They're smart. Like,
yeah,
they're tribalism now with zombie. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit.
What's I'm saying? Like the guys that were
tribal-
hibernating in the hallway, they're like not the top class zombies. They're just the lower level zombies that don't get to live in the whole thing and sit up all day.
Why were they in there? That's a good question.
Why are they hibernating in this random hallway and just standing around doing nothing?
What if they were the robot zombies that were charging?
Then why are they attacking people?
Also,
if the government knows they're in there.
Also, quick question. I'm gonna pop a hole in their microwave hand theory. They microwave the hand so it's warm, so that the zombie will be attracted to warm meat. But all the zombies are outside in Vegas where everything's warm and hot.
Yeah, wouldn't they just be running around aimlessly trying to find things?
Wouldn't they be trying to eat each other?
Yeah, you'd think so.
You think so? What was the baby fetus thing? I was like,
well, because I guess the king zombie was trying to birth a replica, like another one of him.
Maybe
because he can't turn humans into him. I don't know. It was just it was
dumb. It was dumb.
He was like, it was just like one of those Zack Snyder things. Like, oh, you know, it'd be cool. We're gonna have a zombie fetus. But if it's a zombie fetus, wouldn't it eat through the mother to get out?
So in Dawn of the Dead,
if she's dead, how is she feeding him?
Right. Well, she has to eat.
But how is she feeding the fetus?
In Dawn of the Dead, there was a baby zombie that eats out of the mom, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But this, it's like he's like, that was a great idea. But now let's have this king zombie hold the fetus, and all the zombies will bow down, and then he'll get really mad.
Yeah.
But he's always mad because he's a zombie.
Yeah. I don't know. But is he a zombie?
Dude, obviously, he's not. He's like the fucking Highlander. He's got a cape. He's got a metal mask. He's got a horse.
That's what I said. Like,
the man, and he knows. He's smart. He's holding hostages. Why is a zombie holding hostages?
Well, because he's gonna rape them.
He's gonna rape them, which we found out later on.
Because it's not a great thing to have in a movie in 2021.
Listen, that's fine, but it makes no sense. Why is a zombie? Why are they raping women? They're gonna kill them. The women. I don't know, Mark. This movie makes no sense. None of it made sense.
None of it made sense. From the get-go, nothing. Like, I literally sat through this thing as I'm watching. I'm like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. I'm so glad I didn't pay for this.
Me too. Generally,
because I'm like, if I had to pay for this, I'd be really mad because this is really, really bad.
Generally, I don't like. I'll watch a movie and I stay away from my phone. But as I'm watching this, I was like, I started, writing down my notes on our group chat.
Yeah.
And
let me tell you, because once you said you hadn't watched the movie, right after I watched it.
Well, this is what I said.
Okay.
I'm currently 35 minutes into the Army of Dead.
Yeah.
So the opening credit scene was way too fucking long, over 13 minutes. It started off strong, but then got boring. I'm not sure if this is a movie or just me. This movie makes zombies boring, which I stand by.
It did. It made me not care about zombies.
Maybe I'm over zombies, but this movie.
I don't think it's not that at all. I think it's just the zombies weren't scary.
No.
It was just the way it was
bad.
shot. It wasn't like intense. There was no kind of like drama with the zombies. There was no like. It was just zombies just attack people, eat them, over. Next person, zombie attack, eat that person, over. It was like
this
repeat.
is
Control
what I
C,
said.
Control V, Control C, Control V.
Right. This is the most Michael Bay movie Zack Snyder's ever made. I think this is his Michael Bay movie.
I mean, Sucker Punch, but
the Sucker Punch wasn't Michael Bay-esque. This is Michael Bay-esque. Because
it was pretty close.
It had all the tropes of the characters.
Which again was about rape. So there you go.
Yes, but I don't want to go into Sucker Punch. I'm talking about this, to me, my opinion. This is his Michael Bay movie.
Well,
I don't know.
my thing,
You
the
can
only
feel that way.
connection
But
I had to it was this was the first movie I can remember of Zack Snyder's where he was the sole person since that movie.
I
And
don't
that
know.
kind
I
of
don't
was
know if
like,
Sucker
well,
Punch was solely. I don't know. I have to look that up.
yeah.
I don't really know. I don't want to get into that. I'm just saying.
But definitely, like Rocky said, the cinematographer for Justice League was a different guy, was not Zack Snyder.
No,
So,
this is the first time Snyder picked up
yes.
that mantle, and
Yeah.
it's not
So
good.
we figured out Zack Snyder can direct.
Yes.
He can't write, and he's not
yet.
very good at cinematography.
Right.
So he can direct all he wants, but he
Yeah.
has to have people around him to make him better.
Yeah. I think
Which is fine. There's a lot of directors like that. There's some directors who just can't do other things.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And
there's nothing wrong with that, Zack Snyder. It's okay to admit you're not good at the other things. You don't have to feel bad about it.
So
we all have our niche.
Now that we shit on this movie, if you did see it and you did like it, awesome, great. I'm glad you did, because it is a mindlessly
it's a popcorn movie.
It's a popcorn movie. I'm happy I didn't pay any money for it, because I would have been really.
It is
sad.
What, like, as I was wrapping up, I was like, well, if they had just promoted this as a B movie, like from back in the day, I would have been fine. I'd have been like, oh, okay. But the way they promoted it, like it was some kind of awesome action adventure zombie movie.
It was none of those.
It was none of those things.
None of those things. I agree. I wouldn't recommend to anybody.
And unfortunately, if like you watch this movie, you will know that Dave Bautista can't hold a movie by himself. He's a good side character, but not a great star.
You know what, though? He was really good in Blade Runner.
But he wasn't the star of Blade Runner.
I know, but the moment he was on there, he pulled it off.
I know, but that's the thing. It's like he's like, it's just, I think
it comes down to directing and the writing. Because if
that's what I'm saying. This movie gave him a disservice.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it doesn't, like, it's not a movie you want to use if he's ever going for another starring role, to be like, oh, have you guys seen my acting in Army of the Dead? How great it was?
He was good in Stuber. He's good as Drax.
He's great as Drax. But it's just, I think it's just again, better writing.
It's the writing and the directing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the writing could have been better. It was just they all said dumb things. They all made dumb decisions. Yeah. Normal people wouldn't do that. And I think this movie.
Well, like the worst scene for me
should have came out 10 years ago.
The worst scene of the whole movie for me was more of an acting than the other parts of the story. Was when they're walking through the first parts they're going through Vegas. And Tig Notaro's talking with Batista.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, am I the most important? Like, after you, I'm like the one that's got to survive, right? Because I'm the flying the helicopter.
Yeah.
But in that scene, I don't know if you caught it, but in that scene, you definitely can tell that she was replacing somebody who unfortunately is taller than she is. Because as she's talking, she's looking up at Dave Bautista, but Chris D'Elia is about the same height as Dave Bautista is.
Yeah.
So Bautista is looking eyeline over top of Tig Notaro's head.
Yeah.
And talking to Chris D'Elia.
There's nothing you can do about that, really. And the dead pixels.
Many dead pixels.
There was dead pixels. I'm like, is that my screen? But
I thought it was the issue with Netflix. I thought there was some kind of issue going on.
One of the cameras had dead pixels, so they would cut to another shot, be fine. They cut back to that shot, and you see dead pixels everywhere.
Yeah.
That was weird. That someone didn't notice that, and someone could have fixed that in post. I don't know.
Or after the first couple of shots, notice that there's something wrong with the camera, and we should fix it.
He got the lenses on eBay. He's, you got to, give him something here.
You got to get the 8K camera for Christmas. You had to use it.
I bought a camera from eBay. I'm going to make a movie.
And if you want to, if you're glutton for punishment, or if you thought this was a good movie and you want to know more about it, Netflix did produce a behind-the-scenes making of documentary about this movie.
I'm gonna skip that. I got
which I'm tempted to watch just to see Zack Snyder's like reasoning behind things and see what he says is like, this is why I did this, or this is why we decided to do this. And just be like, wow, really? All these people were standing around you and no one was like, you know what, Zack? Maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Mark. 1 through 10. What is your final verdict? Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go
Sure.
first?
Go ahead.
You want me to go first? I give it a 4.
Wow, you're kind.
4. Well, 4. I give it a 4. I was thinking 3, but 4 is in my head for this movie. I think there's a few moments I did like, but I didn't really like anything else. It's forgettable.
Yeah.
So a 4. I mean, it wasn't like, God, I've seen worse. So I can't go any. I think 4 is kind. I 4.
Well, for me, for me, a 1 is like Jury Duty.
Yeah.
It's the only movie I ever walked out of ever in my life, out of a movie theater. And asked for my money back. So I would give this a 3.
Okay. Fair.
It's not the worst movie I've ever seen.
Right. It's not the worst.
Like you said, there are tiny bits of cool things in it.
Yeah.
The trailer helped it get above a 2 because the trailer was good.
And I think the reason it's so popular is because of the trailer, because it made us want to watch it. Of course,
it's a new movie.
Yes.
You don't have to it's
Netflix
new content.
Could shit out a turd and we'd all watch it because it's new content.
Yeah.
It's a new movie.
And people are deprived of content right now. So it's like you're
not really. I think there's
now you're not. Content. But I mean,
yeah.
When they were talking about all these movies coming out, people were deprived of content.
I mean, Adam Sandler films do gangbusters on Netflix and they're horrible.
Yeah.
They're horrible.
Yeah.
The Wrong Missy. I watched.
I'm not even gonna give it a shot.
We put it on for 40 minutes. It was the woman playing the Wrong Missy was so fucking annoying. We turned it off. It was goddamn obnoxious. It was no fun. I didn't laugh at all. It was so bad.
Yeah.
I figured I'll put it on when going to bed. Like just put it on. Oh God, give me a headache. I was like, turn it off. I can't do it.
Turn it off. I can't do it anymore.
This movie sucks.
Ugh. But yeah, I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, that's fair. I think those are fair.
Only because it's Zack Snyder, and I don't I don't know if I feel bad for him.
I like Zack Snyder, and I like his work, but this is the first time I really am pretty hard on it. First time. I like all the other stuff. I have no problem with it, but this is I was highly disappointed by this film. I know
you were the one that was like, out of the two of us, you were the one that was super excited about this.
I know.
I, on the other hand, kind of was tempting. I kind of tempered my excitement after Justice League. I kind of was like, well, let's see here first, because Zack Snyder is really good at his second time around, not so good at his first shot.
Well, what can you do, Mark? Well, anyway, that is our review of Army of the Dead.
Yeah. But if you wait like 3 years, there will be a director's cut of this movie, and it'll be 6 hours long. And it'll be like a little bit better. And the one thing I found out from reading articles is that the baby that the zombies were going to have was a female, and they were going to name it Martha.
Yes.
And then it was going to connect to Justice League. And
it was going to be the Martha. It was going to connect the DCU with his
Zombie U.
His new zombie.
Yeah. And then they're going to have DC Zombies. It was going to be the shtick. That's what they're going towards.
Oh, my God. That's what it was, Mark. You got it.
I solved it. I solved the whole thing. Now the movie's at 4. I moved it up a number because I solved the quandary that was Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead. It wasn't much of an army.
It really wasn't. Well, the Dead was the army, not Batista's group. It was the.
But aren't zombies just an army of zombies to begin with?
Well, that's the thing. That was the play on words, if you will.
Yeah.
They could have called the movie Zombies, but who wants to? That's not gonna. sell tickets.
Oh, and then they had to play Cranberries Zombies acoustic version near the end.
God.
But that song is about like kids being killed in a war,
Yes.
I believe.
Not zombies. It's about the IRA and all that because they're an Irish band.
So
it does have nothing to do with
just
actual
because
zombies.
The word zombie is in it.
Yeah.
That's why he used it.
Yeah. It's called not knowing the material that you're using.
It was like, like artists go through different phase, like, the blue phase. You go through different phases. Zack Snyder's like, I'm still making the same movies, but I'm in my acoustic phase. I'm just gonna play acoustic.
It was like, no,
songs.
this is Zack Snyder in his I've read my own headlines phase.
This is Zack Snyder. I like to smell my own farts phase.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that smells great. Let's make it more.
How great was Justice League? I must make this movie on my own. I don't need anyone else to help me with it. I can write it. I can direct it. And I'll even shoot it myself with my home video camera. It'll be fantastic. And what we'll do is release it on Netflix for free to the world to see.
And then we'll create more spin-offs that nobody will care about.
And then we'll make prequels for a movie that no one wanted prequels for.
Right. There's an animated series coming out that's going to be voiced by the cast are going to come back for their characters. Ugh. But they just met in the movie. So how are they going to be an animated
and they're
series?
All dead.
It's going to be a prequel.
Oh, boy.
I bet you that animated series never happens. I bet we don't see it.
I bet you it will happen because Netflix.
I'm stating it right
now. Netflix will just greenlight everything at this point.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Netflix is just greenlighting anything that comes through. Netflix is so paranoid about Amazon and all these other like Hulu and everything at this point is actually like, and Disney Plus and HBO Max and everything is kicking Netflix's ass right now. That Netflix is just like greenlighting anything that comes across the desk. It's like, what? Content? Yes. New stuff? Yes. This random person who's done something good in another place wants to do something on Netflix? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think
that's all this is. This is like if you have a passion project, if you have a passion project and you're like anyone who has any kind of credibility, be it Zack Snyder, be it Leonardo DiCaprio, be it anyone who's done anything anywhere else, you go to Netflix and be like, here's this project.
Netflix does have some good stuff. I mean, I think the last Netflix original movie that I watched that I really liked was Marriage Story. That was like a year ago.
Yeah.
Over a year ago. Oh, Irishman. I really liked The Irishman.
But that also was extremely long.
Yeah, but it was really good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I like that kind of stuff anyway. But
yeah.
Yeah.
But Netflix is just. I think they're scraping for.
It's quantity over quality.
Yeah.
They do have some quality stuff out there, but you have to dig for it through the.
You have to really dig for it.
For the crap. There's a lot of crap.
There's so much on there now.
Yeah, it's
like I can't even tell you like the last thing. Well, until I started watching Shadow and Bone and Lucifer, that just came out recently. The thing I've watched before that was like a Netflix show, so to speak. I can't even remember. I think like the glory days of Netflix are over.
I'm not gonna no, because you still have Stranger Things coming out, which is gonna be
but I mean like the glory days of like you were like it was like a thing you had to like watch like Glow.
Because it was only Netflix at the time.
Yeah.
Now we have so many streaming services. So they've taken eyeballs are everywhere now.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, there was a one time when we only had 4 channels. There was one time we only had Netflix.
One streaming service. Now we have 7,000 streaming services.
Right. So I think those days are over. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
The Netflix glory days are over.
They have to do whatever they can to get people to watch. And if
the thing with Netflix, the shtick with Netflix back when it came out was the fact that it had everything. Like you can go to one place and watch all Warner Brothers stuff,
but now it doesn't.
All Disney stuff.
Yeah.
And now all these places are getting their own streaming services. And now with the fact that Warner Brothers is pretty much sold off to Amazon at this point.
Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
It's HBO Max. That's Warner Brothers.
I know.
They're not sold off to Amazon.
I just read that Amazon bought something.
Amazon bought MGM Studios.
That's what it was. MGM, sorry.
No, is it Universal? No, MGM that makes James Bond.
Yes, that's what it was. Thank
like
you.
Warner Brothers is
Yeah.
HBO.
Yeah.
That's Time
HBO.
Warner.
But yeah, so and now you're losing all that stuff off Netflix. So
Yeah, when
which is
time
Paramount
comes.
Plus and all that, which was where MGM stuff was. But now that's going to be all Amazon stuff. So
yeah, Amazon will now have all the James Bond films, anything that in the
yeah,
MGM. So Amazon bought that. So that's good for Amazon. It's gonna give them.
that's the thing with
more
Netflix
content.
is it's losing like all the exclusivity of all these different things because all these places are building their own stuff now.
Yeah, they're
That they
taking
don't
it
need
back.
Netflix.
No. I mean, Amazon was paying X amount of money for Friends, but
Yeah.
now, Time Warner, that's a Warner Brothers property. Now it's home on HBO Max. And
Yeah.
they don't have to pay nothing because they own that property.
Yeah.
So for them, it's a win-win, you know?
Yeah. Like all the Star Wars movies are on Netflix
Disney.
and now Disney Plus is around, so they bought all that stuff back. So it's all going to gradually disappear off of Netflix.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Netflix has got to do what they got to do to survive.
Lost all the Marvel stuff. They don't have that anymore.
Right.
So,
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Netflix will stay around for a long time. I think they'll.
Oh, it'll be around. It just won't be like
it's not
it was.
it's not as popular as it once was.
It's gonna be all these original movies and things. It's gonna have that.
We watch mostly on Netflix is their documentaries about serial killers. That's really
it's basically like A&E at this point. It's like an A&E offshoot.
We're like, oh, the third season. Whenever the third season of the Andrew Dassey. Mindhunter. I mean, anytime there's a documentary about something, usually Netflix is the one that has it. But
I will say, if you have the time and you're into very in-depth documentaries, This Is a Robbery, the Boston art heist.
Oh yeah, I gotta check that out.
That was very good. It was a 4-episode miniseries thing. That was really good. I did try watching MODOK. Not my cup of tea.
Hear about MODOK. I watched 3 episodes. I enjoyed it. I put the 4th one on, and I haven't gone back. It was kind of boring.
Yeah,
I kind of lost interest. It was funny.
Got a couple episodes in. I'm like, this isn't me. This isn't for me.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I lost interest. I'm not invested at all about anything.
I don't like it. The character. It's not. I don't know. They went too far with it. Too far out in left field for me.
Yeah, it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to continue with it. Like I said, I watched first 3 in one sitting. I was like, oh, that's cool. I put the 4th one on, and I just kind of went, yeah, I'm
it's
done.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. So
yeah,
I was going to bring that up today. I totally forgot.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, we should wrap this up.
Yeah. So if you want it, Army of the Dead's on Netflix. Check it out. Tell us what you thought of it.
Don't check it out. I say don't. But anyway.
Well, I mean, it's new content. It's better than sitting home doing nothing.
We will be back next Monday, and Loki starts
on Mondays. Next
Wednesday.
Right? Yes.
Whew.
Yeah.
Very excited for something good.
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
We've missed Marvel for 2 weeks, and this is what we've gotten.
We have to watch crappy Netflix movies. Come on, Marvel.
No more gaps, Marvel.
Yeah.
As soon as one show ends, start the next one. We don't want to be waiting around.
We're going crazy here. Ugh. All right. We'll be back next week. You can like us on Facebook, Geekonomics Podcast. Follow us on Twitter. We're on our YouTube channel. And we're always here on Facebook where you're watching us, I'm assuming. And we'll see you in a week.
Yes. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all back here next week. So long, everybody.